What if you want to invest in the top companies of Nifty 50 but don't have the ample amount of capital to do so? Is it possible? Well, yes, in the form of index funds. Hello and namaste. My name is Anamika Rana and I am a chartered accountant. Welcome to a new video on my channel, Anamika Rana, and in this channel we talk about finance, business and productivity. My name is Anamika Rana and I am a chartered accountant, and in today's video we will talk about index funds. What is the difference between index fund and mutual fund? What are the benefits and drawbacks of index funds and how you can invest in index funds? So watch the video till the end. First of all, let's try to understand what is an index fund. So let me give you a very basic example. Let's break the word index fund in index and fund. Fund means a mutual fund and index basically is a benchmark. Okay, so when we combine index fund together, it is nothing but a particular type of mutual fund which invests in an index by replicating it, and this index which it is replicating already exists in the market. So for example, let's take the example of Nifty 50. Now suppose say you only have 1000 rupees but you want to invest in all the top 50 companies of Nifty 50. Is it possible? Yes, by investing in an index fund which replicates Nifty 50. So for example, if today in Nifty 50 IDFC is 10%, that means in the index fund also it will hold a proportionate weight of 10%. So basically this is how you replicate an index in the form of an index fund. Now it is a mutual fund, which means it has to be managed by a fund manager, but in an index fund it is a type of a passive mutual fund, which means the fund manager is not constantly or actively scrutinizing the mutual fund. In short, index fund is an indirect way to invest in the whole market. Now let's talk about the benefits of investing in an index fund. The number one benefit is of course the low risk and the diversification in your portfolio. Just imagine if you were to invest in one of the top 50 companies, the risk would have been higher as compared to investing in a small proportion in each of those top 50 companies. First, you are able to diversify your risk, of course, by investing that same amount in a multiple number of companies as compared to one company. Second benefit is of course the low expense ratio. Like I earlier also mentioned, index fund is basically passively managed by a fund manager. That means the expense, the cost to maintain an index fund is lower as compared to maintaining an active mutual fund, and hence the expense ratio is also lower. And the third benefit which the index fund offers is the high liquidity. That means an index fund is also traded in the stock market, which means you can buy and sell whenever you want. So now let's talk about the drawbacks of an index fund. The first drawback is of course the lack of flexibility that you get to invest in the market. The second drawback is that the index fund is vulnerable to the direct swings and the crashes in the stock market. And the third drawback is that it is not a suitable investment option for active investors. Now let's discuss how index funds is different from mutual fund. The first difference is, like I earlier also mentioned, that mutual fund is actively managed by a fund manager, whereas index fund is passively managed by a fund manager. The second difference is of course the expense ratio, that because mutual fund is actively managed by a fund manager, the costs are high to maintain a mutual fund, and hence the expense ratio is more as compared to an index fund where the expense ratio is lesser. The third difference is that because mutual fund is actively managed, that means it tries to always outperform the market index, whereas because index fund is passively managed, it tries to be in sync with the market index. And the fourth difference is that index fund is not very flexible in terms of the type of securities it is investing in, because it is replicating an existing index, whereas in mutual funds the fund manager tries to constantly reshuffle the entire list of securities in which he is investing, so that he can accordingly invest or pull back the money depending on the sectors which are performing well in the economy at that given time. Now let's talk about how you can invest in an index fund. So index fund are basically of two types. One is ETF, which is exchange traded fund, and the other one is the actively managed fund, which is like the mutual fund that we usually invest in. The first type, which is the index ETF, is very simple to buy and sell because it is directly listed in the stock exchange, and you can either invest directly in it or even through a stockbroker. You only need to have have a demat account for it. And the second type, which is the open-ended funds, are very, very simple. Again, for this, you don't need to necessarily have a demat account. You can simply go to any kind of online investing platforms like Grow or ET Money and simply add on your Aadhaar number, your PAN card details, your e-signature verification, and it's done. And you can simply start tracking the funds available and keep investing in it depending on the sector of your choice and the risk appetite and the return expectation that you have in your mind. And here is a list of the popular index funds in India as of the date. Please note, this is just for educational purpose and not in any way trying to give you a biased opinion towards any particular fund. So that's all for this particular video today. If you like this video, let me know in the comment section below. Hit that like button and subscribe to my channel, and also tell me if you would like to see more of the videos around index funds or ETFs or around stock market or mutual funds as well. And that's it. I will see you soon again. Take care. Namaste. Bye-bye.